Ford Ka 2008-2016. The first Ford Ka was a kind of motorized teapot, a tiny and rather peculiar-looking thing that was a good to drive it energized the class and spurred other manufacturers on to achieve greater things. It was 2 doors only and available with only one rather old and trashy engine option. But it was a huge success commercially, so much so that this second-generation Ka had a lot to live up to. Opinion is a little divided on whether or not it did live up to it, but like it or not, this Ford Ka makes an ideal city car. It shared a lot of its underpinnings with the massively popular Fiat 500 in an effort to keep costs down, and although that baby Cinquecento was no great shakes as a driver's tool, no one can doubt its success as an agile and pretty city car. The Ka's small size helps with all the typical urban demands, along with the raised seating position, which gives you a good view out. And big mirrors make it easy to judge the extremities of the car, enabling you to slot it into the tightest of spaces. Another point of note is the handling, which is better than the Fiat 500s. While it doesn't have this car's funky interior and extensive accessories list, the car received plenty of Ford know-how when tuning the suspension and steering to make it feel nimble, accurate and composed through corners. The ride is also good. It's still a little bit firm, but it is more composed than the 500. Refinement, however, is a downside, with high levels of wind noise coming from the top of the side windows and also kicked up from the large door mirrors. And the 67 bhp engine struggles on the motorway, where it sounds like it's working hard to maintain speed. A Volkswagen Up would be better if you do need to venture out of town more often. You also wouldn't choose a Ka to transport larger rear passengers as space in the back is tight. Space up front is good, however, and the boot is large for a small car, only being hampered by a large load lip and lack of split folding bench on entry-level trims. The interior is clearly laid out, but doesn't have the same design flair that the Fiat 500 has, which means that you notice the cheapness of the plastics more than you would in the 500. It also doesn't come with as much standard equipment as a Hyundai i10, which can make the car feel quite Spartan. Being a city car with a bias towards town work, the clutch and gearbox will have seen some action. Check that there isn't any slippage or any notchiness, as this indicates abuse and the likelihood of large repair bills in the future. Also check for any bodywork damage. A car which has had to earn its keep in the cut and thrust of traffic may have had 1 or 2 bumps in its life, so look for any scrapes to bumpers or poor accident repair to body panels. If the work hasn't been carried out to Ford's workshop standards, then this could lead rust problems. Check the interior for any damage caused by second car family use. Ford attempted to make the interior more cheerful with some light and bright color schemes, some of which may show up dirt unless they have been regularly cleaned. The Ford Ka was offered with a 1.3-liter diesel engine when it was launched, and this is fitted with a diesel particulate filter, DPF. As the Ka is primarily designed as a city car, it is unlikely that many owners will have taken their cars on frequent motorway journeys to ensure that the DPF can regenerate, as this process is only triggered during prolonged drives at higher speed. Check how the previous owner has used the car if you are unsure. Other potential problems with the DPF-equipped cars come if it has been shut off partway through a regeneration. The result is contamination of the oil system with fuel, which leads to the oil level rising gradually over time. This can cause damage to the engine if it hasn't already done so. It's worth getting diesel cars checked out before purchase. Owners have reported few problems to us about their Ford Kas, but the ones they have mentioned have caused quite a lot to sort out. There have been issues with the electronics, rust, and quite worrying for a town-biased car, gearbox and clutch problems. It is worth bearing in mind that this car shares a lot of its parts with the Fiat 500, so parts availability will be better than most if something does go wrong. Ford as a brand finished in 18th place out of 31 manufacturers in our most recent reliability survey. Basic Studio version Ford Kas don't come with electric windows, remote central locking or air con. That last one isn't uncommon for a small car of its generation, but the other emissions are. The Edge version was introduced after the January 2010 model revision and gives you these missing items as standard. It is the model we would recommend as it provides all the equipment you really need. Zetec gives you a heated front windscreen, 16-inch alloy wheels and front fog lights, and titanium adds climate control and rear parking sensors. The best engine to go for is the 1.2-liter petrol, as it is economical enough to negate the need for the diesel version. And with the diesel's potential reliability problems, the petrol version is the one to go for. Our favorite Ford Ka 1.2 Edge. Well, if you are the owner of this car, then please describe the problem that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your feedback that will help viewers when choosing a car. That's it for today. Thanks everyone for attention. It isn't much work for you to subscribe to the channel. See you soon.